A. Philip Randolph and Marcus Garvey, their relationship and fallout. A. Philip Randolph and Marcus Garvey were both influential black leaders of the early 20th century, but they had major ideological differences that led to a bitter rivalry. Not one. Early relationship between Randolph and Garvey. A. Philip Randolph was a socialist, labor organizer, and civil rights activist, known for leading the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and advocating for black economic empowerment through labor unions. Marcus Garvey, founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNEA, believed in black nationalism and economic self-sufficiency, promoting the idea that African Americans should return to Africa. Initially, both men were advocating for black economic progress, but their visions differed dramatically. Why A. Philip Randolph turned against Marcus Garvey. Randolph and his close associate Chandler Owen, co-founder of the Messenger newspaper, fiercely criticized Garvey for several reasons. A. Garvey's opposition to integration and labor unions. Randolph believed in labor rights and integrating black workers into the American economy. He saw unions as the best way to uplift black people. Garvey rejected integration, arguing that black Americans should not seek equality in the US, but should instead build their own economy and return to Africa. Randolph viewed Garvey's separatism as harmful and unrealistic. B. Garvey's meeting with the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, in 1922. Garvey openly met with KKK leaders in Atlanta to discuss the idea of black Americans returning to Africa. Randolph was outraged that Garvey would legitimize white supremacists. Randolph wrote scathing editorials against Garvey, calling him a charlatan and fraud who was leading black people astray. See Garvey's business failures and fraud allegations. Randolph attacked Garvey for financial mismanagement, particularly in his Black Star Line steamship company, meant to transport black Americans to Africa. Randolph and Owen published articles in the Messenger exposing Garvey's questionable business practices. D. Garvey's authoritarian leadership. Randolph believed Garvey was too dictatorial and did not allow criticism within the UNEA. Garvey saw himself as a black Moses and did not tolerate opposition, which made Randolph view him as dangerous and egotistical. Marcus Garvey's business assets and finances. 1. Properties and businesses Garvey owned without donations. Garvey did not own much outright without donations or investments. Most of his projects, including the Black Star Line, were funded by selling stock and seeking donations. He did operate some UNEA grocery stores and factories, but these were also built with investor money. 2. How did Marcus Garvey fund his first ship? Garvey's first ship, the Yarmouth, renamed the Frederick Douglass, was bought using funds raised from stock sales in the Black Star Line. He did not have personal wealth. He raised money through small black investors. Marcus Garvey's fraud allegations and false advertising. 1. How did Garvey defraud investors? Garvey's Black Star Line promised black Americans that they would have a powerful black-owned shipping company. However, several things went wrong. Selling stock in a non-existent company. Garvey began selling stock in the Black Star Line before he had acquired a ship. He advertised powerful steamships that did not yet exist. B. False advertising and over-exaggerated promises. UNEA promotional materials featured fake images of luxurious ships. Garvey claimed the Black Star Line would connect Africa, the Caribbean and the US, but the company was never financially stable. The first ship purchased was not seaworthy, and other ships were mismanaged or never delivered. C. Financial mismanagement and fraudulent deals. Garvey paid inflated prices for ships that were in poor condition, leading to accusations of corruption. He sold stocks that were not registered with the US government, violating securities laws. 3. Was Marcus Garvey convicted for selling unregistered stocks? Yes. In 1923, Garvey was convicted of mail fraud for using the postal system to sell fraudulent stock in the Black Star Line. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined. 4. Did Garvey sell stocks for ships he didn't own? Yes. He raised money by selling stock in ships that had not yet been acquired. Investors thought they were buying shares in an active shipping business, but the ships were either non-functional or never purchased. Marcus Garvey's later years, deportation and problems in London. 1. Deportation to Jamaica, 1927. In 1927, President Calvin Coolidge commuted Garvey's sentence, and he was deported to Jamaica. He tried to rebuild the UNEA in Jamaica, but it never regained its former influence. 2. Did Garvey return to London? In 1935, he moved to London after struggling to regain power in Jamaica. In London, he had issues with reporters and declining influence. The British press did not take him seriously, and many viewed him as a failure. Did Marcus Garvey read his own obituary? Yes. In 1940, a British newspaper mistakenly published an obituary of Marcus Garvey before he had died. Garvey read it and reportedly stroke shortly after. Myers suffered a stroke shortly after. He died soon after on June 10th in London. Final analysis, Garvey versus Randolph. Ishay Philip Randolph's view, Marcus Garvey's view. Race and economy. Integrate into US labor unions, create a separate black economy. Return to Africa? Opposed. Wanted equality in US, supported Africa was the future. Dealing with white supremacists, rejected KKK, met with KKK. Black Star Line called it a scam, promoted it as the black economy's future. Leadership style, democratic union-based, authoritarian, self-centered. Conclusion. Marcus Garvey was a visionary who inspired black pride and economic independence, but his business failures and authoritarian leadership led to scandal and legal trouble. A. Philip Randolph saw Garvey as a fraud who distracted black workers from real economic progress through labor unions.